everyone, this is going to be a review on the Discoverie deck of cards. You can find this deck at Bmpokerworld.com in the link in the description. So this deck is based off of a book called The Discovery of Witchcraft, which is a book that was written many years ago, and it's one of the first books in English that's about magic. It was meant to show that magicians are performers and entertainers and not witches. So if we look at the box here, we can see that it looks like a book. So it's supposed to resemble the actual Discoverie of Witchcraft book. The front of the box says Discoverie deck, and that's the side there. And these sides look like the pages of a book. And then there's a black seal. And the back design of the deck actually looks like the back of a book. And it looks like it's old and worn, and it is a one-way back design if you look at this spot here. I don't think this back design is really interesting, and it's not my favorite back design, but I can see where they were going with it because of the whole book theme. The deck has a few extra cards. This one here talks about the book, and this one just has a trick on it. So we can see a person there with their head cut off, and there's another person here sticking his head through that hole as if it's the actual head. So it's revealing a trick in a way. And there are two jokers, and the jokers show two different magic props, and these are of course very old magic props. All of the aces are custom, and if you put them in a certain order, the words at the bottom here actually say something. If you put them in spade, heart, club, diamond order, it says, if you play among strangers, beware of him that seems simple or drunken. And all of the cards, including the aces, have writing in the background as if it were a book. The fours and the twos all have a magic prop in the middle. These are the same ones that were seen on the jokers. And the basic design of the rest of the cards is standard on both the number cards and the court cards, but the color is different, and they all have the words in the background. The faces of the cards are also one way. The most noticeable thing that makes the cards one way is this dot right there. So the dot is only on one side, and if you turn a card, you can see that it has been turned in the deck. Now let's move on to the handling of the deck. The deck is said to have a standard bicycle stock, but when I first got the cards out of the box, I noticed that they were a little bit more difficult to break in, and the stock just seemed slightly heavier than the standard bicycle stock. They also have an air cushion finish, and it seems to hold up well, and the cards are fairly smooth. The pharaohs are okay with this deck. And the fans are smooth and not overly clumpy. They also dribble well. And there's the shuffle. The ribbon spreads are really good. The giant fans aren't really very interesting because of the whole back design being mostly just brown, and it just doesn't have a lot of artwork going on with the back design. These are my final thoughts on this deck. I do like the idea. I think it was creative, and I thought it was a good idea to come up with a deck that had a little bit of history with magic and the first book that was published, at least in English. Parts of the deck are a little bland, like the back design, and the writing on the front, in my opinion, looks a little bit distracting, but since it's lightly colored, it's not that bad. And I understand where they were going with that, because the whole idea is to replicate the actual book. Cards are kind of hard to break in, but the stock feels secure, and the overall handling is of decent quality. So that's my review. You can pick this deck up at Bmpokerworld.com in the link in the description. Thank you for watching.